Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, depending when you're watching this. How are we all? I hope you're doing really well. Today is going to be a super duper casual video. In fact, it's going to be a get ready with me / putting on some makeup, Q&A, all the rest of that fun stuff. So I'm a bit of a hot mess this morning. Just been trying to rush to get a million things done. My mirror's dirty, so I'm just giving it a wipe down with a wet wipe. Where were wet wipes before I had kids? Honestly, no one tells you that these are an essential staple that you need in your life. All right, now we are good to go. Since I last did a get ready with me, my hair has changed. It's a very wonky part because I haven't done it properly today, but I now have a middle part. If you weren't up to date, I do curl it with my GHD, which we will do after I do my makeup. But I wanted to, step you through the current things I'm using, loving. I actually had a new item sent to me. I've somehow gotten on a PR list. Gosh only knows how or why. But a world without plastic. Oh, okay, that's good. So about a year ago, Good Molecules reached out to me and wanted to send me a bunch of products, and I said that I would trial them, and then if I liked them, that I would do a collab with them. But then it just never went anywhere. I really liked the products, but I just haven't actively shared it with you guys. And I thought today, it's not sponsored at all, but I thought today I would share with you my honest opinion because I've been consistently using them now for about 6 months. I'd used them for a little bit before that, but I also was still really into my Esme stuff back then. Whereas, I don't know, I just found that the Esme stuff worked at first, but then it wasn't really doing much else, and it's probably just because I wasn't buying an array of their products to achieve different things. But then Good Molecules somehow just kept turning up at my door, and I was like, oh well, I'm not gonna pay for skincare if it's coming to me for free. And I also really liked the brand. It's very similar to the brand, what's it called? Oh, it's in a black bottle. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's so annoying. But anyway, I've been using these guys for about 6 months consistently, and I've been loving how it's been working on my skin. They recently just sent, also it's not tested on animals, it just says on the box there. They've recently just sent out the Discoloration Correcting Serum. I'm pretty sure it was in the rose. Oh no, that's this one, sorry, the one I haven't opened yet. So this one was the one they sent last time. I don't know if it has a smell. It actually smells a little bit like Panadol, like kids Panadol, and it looks a bit like it too. I don't know if I can even use these two products together. That's the thing when I get new products, is I just slap them on and I don't actually read the instructions. Does anyone else do that? Probably not. So I've got a similar serum to this that I've been using, and I really like it. It doesn't leave a tacky thing on my face. Like I said, this is not sponsored. They have not asked me in any shape or form to post about this. Obviously they send me stuff for free, so there's a chance that they'll share it, but they haven't asked. They don't know that I'm doing this, so just so you know. But even if it was sponsored, it's still the same response and answer that you're going to get from me. So then next up, they sent the Rosewater Daily Cleansing Gel. Oh, well, I won't need this right now, but I'll need it tonight. I assume cleansing gel is to remove makeup. Ooh, I love it. Look at that, it's got a nice little pump on it. Oh, that's cool. A gentle cleanser to balance and brighten skin. I guess I could probably use it without having to take makeup off. People do clean their skin, Katie. It's actually in a really nice glass bottle as well, not plastic, which makes sense because it says that they're trying to move away from plastics. Right, now we've done just a little bit of something on my face. I'm going to use my Old Faithful Fenty Beauty, what is it called? Primer? Is that the word? Pro Filter Primer, yeah. Guys, I'm no expert when it comes to makeup, okay? Foundation has not changed since the last time, so I'm just going to start the Q&A part of this video as well because you guys will just get bored. Also, just before we get into this, I was trending on TikTok, guys. Trending on TikTok yesterday. Day before yesterday. Time's just like a number at the moment. It's really not relevant. But can we just appreciate the amount of hours that goes into content creation, and the fact that a new platform such as TikTok is actually supporting small creators and not just big creators is such a huge thing. Like, I was literally just saying 2 days prior to that happening to Elle that I would never be on a trending chart because I'm a small creator. So like things like YouTube and things like that only feature really big accounts on the trending page. And that's fine, you know, but also there has to be a point where small creators can be found by new people. That's the idea. Otherwise we wouldn't upload if people couldn't find us. So TikTok's algorithm is just so different. So different to any other social media platform that I have. Instagram's the worst at pushing you out to new followers. It's just almost impossible. Like, yes, there's hashtags and things like that, but most of the time is filled with spam or like men just trying to be all creepy. Whereas YouTube, you have a chance of like going viral. Like, you do have a chance of, you know, being searchable and reaching a bunch of new followers, but it is also difficult. Like, I've been doing it 3 years and I'm just about to hit 15k on my main on this channel. But on TikTok, I'm getting like 500 to 2,000 new followers daily, just purely because the algorithm, the way that it's based, is not favoring those with huge followings. It's favoring the actual content that people are watching and absorbing. And also, like, the way that their algorithm works is they don't just push your video for 24 hours. They actually do it in stages. So they'll push out content as it's uploaded. They'll hand it off to a bunch of people. And depending how it tests and goes with that bunch of people, then it will be pushed to more bunches of people. And then say it has its big, you know, initial viewage, and then it'll die off and you'll be like, oh, well, that was really good. It'll actually revamp it a few days later or a week later and be like, okay, so let's just see if it was the timing that she uploaded it. Will this actually do really well if we push it to this bunch of people? And then that's why TikTok is so much better, because other platforms don't do that. They don't give it a second wave or a second try. The only way you're going to get more people seeing your video after the initial like upload of it is by it being searchable. So yeah, that's huge for small creators. Anyway, enough of TikTok. The first question, let me see who it was by. Caitlin29, most embarrassing story. Oh, I have a few. The one that comes to my mind first, though, is when I was like 15, maybe 14. Like, I was in grade like 9 or 10. I think it was 9 or 10. We were all in a classroom and we were in like the projector room. I don't know if you guys had different rooms for different activities or different classes, but it was like a RE class or some kind of class where we had to have a projector to like watch stuff. And I have talked about it on here even, where I get super heavy periods. And this particular day I was having a super heavy period. And because, you know, you run from class to class and you only get 2 breaks. Well, I think that's how many breaks we got. Maybe we got 3. But anyway, you have a few classes between each break. And I either forgot to change. I can't remember. I can't remember if I forgot to change or if it was a super heavy flow and it just had accumulated in the time that I was in the class. But yeah, basically I could feel myself leaking, but I didn't know if it was like leaking beyond my pad. So I always wore a tampon and then a pad, and that was my backup. And so in my head, I'm like, I know I'm leaking past the tampon, but I don't know if I'm leaking past the pad. I should be fine. And bear in mind, I wear super heavy pads as well as the tampons. Well, I used to. Now I use Modi Body, but back then that's what I used to use. And so I was like freaking out to stand up. I waited for everyone to leave the class because I just had this sneaking suspicion that it was going to be everywhere, which is every young girl's worst nightmare, might I add too. And everyone left the classroom. And I don't remember how the teacher also left me. Like, they managed to leave. And then I can't remember why or what I did to manage to get alone in the classroom. But anyway, I was by myself, stood up, and there was this pool of blood on the chair that I was sitting on. I had nothing with me because obviously I was in this classroom with my books and my pens, and then I was like, fuck. I had a big long skirt because I went to a Catholic school, so we had strict things. So what I decided to do was turn my skirt up. So it was like a 3/4 length skirt down to your shins. So I like turned my skirt up to make it look super short, to like cover the period stain at the back. Ended up bailing on the chair. I was like, well, I haven't got any tissues here, haven't got any wet wipes, haven't got any water. Like, how am I meant to clean this up? I can't. So I ended up leaving it there. It was fucking disgusting. And ran to go to the toilet. I ended up twisting my skirt and pulling up the front so that it was like hideable. And then I can't remember, I think I went to the front desk at the reception and I was like, hey, can I have a like a lost and found skirt or something, because I've perioded all over mine. And then I think I also had to like wear no underwear. I can't remember. That part's all a blur, but yeah. And you know what's disgusting? And like I could never go back into the classroom because they always lock up the classrooms. Or like when we go into the classrooms, there's always people like waiting there. So I never managed to go back to the chair and clean it up. And every time I'd go in that class, there'd be this dried blood stain on this chair. And every time I saw it, I'm like, fuck, that's my fault. And like, but it didn't look like a dried blood stain because it was a dark blue chair. So it looked just like a stain. But I always knew, and I could never say anything about it because it was just the most embarrassing thing of my life. And I can't even remember. I think it was a male teacher that I had in that class. And at the time, you know, you just don't want to tell anyone because you're just embarrassed. So in hindsight, yeah, I would have told a teacher, but you live and you learn. And sorry to whoever has to sit on that chair now. 10 years worth of bloodstain. More than 10 years. So now I'm just going to be putting down some of my Stay Matte Rimmel powder. I don't really like this powder, but it's the only one I've got, so we're going to live with that. Best and worst parts of being a YouTuber / Instagrammer, trending TikToker, woo, says Taylor. Yeah, Taylor. Taylor is one of my OGs. She's amazing, so thank you, Taylor. It's difficult. Like, I think I'm pretty transparent like about it. I try not to hype on about it too much because obviously it is a dream job what I do, but at the same time I do know that social media gets a lot of judgment and backlash for not being a proper job. But what I will say is I've done many jobs in my life. I have been a aged care assistant. That really is a really tough job. More so because of the bullying in the workplace and like the hierarchy that seems to go on in that place versus the actual job itself, which is amazing. And then I've also been an insurance worker, which was easy. It wasn't fun, but it was easy. Like the job itself was easy. You just pressing buttons, typing stuff, answering the phone. It is like still a job and it's still difficult to do, but it's not the hardest job I've ever done. And then working for myself now, it's tough to like categorize which one's harder because they all have their like hard parts about them. Aged care is physically tough. Like it's physically and mentally draining. But you also clock off and you get to go home and you just get to forget about your day. Like obviously there's days where you might have a resident die, pardon me, or things will be really tough that day or something like that. And so that's really tough. And I couldn't imagine being an aged care worker during COVID right now. I'd imagine that would be extremely stressful. But then also working for myself, I never clock off. Like I do about 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. most days, sometimes 11 p.m. So that is really difficult to do, especially when you're trying to balance having, you know, your children and like make them a priority, which they are. They're always my number one. I'm just checking on some of my Rimmel. I've also been using the Sephora stick, which I do really like. I might actually use that too. Yeah, so my kids are my number one. They always get my attention first. But I also am trying to make this a paid job because of my children. So I started YouTube because it was a creative outlet for me. I studied acting back in the day. Is that even buffing in? Back in the day, I studied can I talk today? Studied acting. And then because I met Elliot and decided to do that and have a life doing that, I gave up. Well, I didn't give up. We chose as a united couple to not pursue moving to Sydney or Melbourne for my acting career. So that then meant working in a 9-to-5 job. And YouTube started out as just a passion for me to like get back into creativity. Like I was more myself. I wasn't acting in any type of way, but it was like a creative way for me to be on camera and do that sort of similar thing, but just in more of a real way, if that makes sense, not acting. Don't know if any of that made sense. So that's where it started, and then over the past few years I've obviously realised the potential of it, and also the amazing community of you guys supporting me has helped me realise that I could support my family financially from it as well. So that then means more hours that go into it and time and stuff. So it's just a balance, really. It is really difficult because, like I said, I'm doing 40 hours a week with very little pay. Like I do get paid through Google AdSense, I get paid through brand sponsorships and all of that other stuff, but you also have to remember how many hauls and things that I'm putting out. So that's extremely, like, it adds up to be quite a high number. And like last year, I'm just in the process of doing my taxes right now because I have an ABN. I came out even last year. So that's including all brand sponsorships, Google AdSense and everything, because you've got to remember too that all of the clothes that I receive as a gift from a company, that is classified income, and I have to have that as a tax deduction. So if I'm not earning physical money and I'm just bringing in gifts, then I have to fork out tax money out of my own pocket. So there's so much that goes on behind the scenes with it, and it's a lot more complicated than what it might seem because you're just seeing a few videos, but it is a lot. And especially when I've got so many different platforms I have to manage and make sure I'm putting effort and work into and stuff. And yeah, it's tough, but I love it. It's like my passion. But I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. Like I was saying on the mukbang the other day on my vlogging channel, I don't know if you guys know that, but I have a vlogging channel. I was saying that I would rather work for free doing something than working in something that's paying me hundreds of thousands for a 9-to-5 job, because I'm more about living life to the fullest and enjoying life and enjoying what I do versus having money to buy material things, or to for what? Because society tells me that I should be an accountant or go to uni or do whatever. No, that's not what I'm passionate about. It's not what I want to do. So I'm very lucky and grateful. Well, not lucky, very grateful to have a partner that supports me and my passion. And it would be a completely different story if he wasn't if he didn't enjoy his job. Sorry, I've got a bit of powder in my eye. If he didn't enjoy his job, then we would be in a very different situation right now, because I value both of us being in a job that we enjoy. I would never expect him to work in a paid job so that I could be not in a paid job doing what I love to do. I value both of us equally, having a job that we enjoy, but obviously one of us has to be bringing in income with that. So if he decided to, tomorrow to tell me that he really wanted I don't know, this is just a completely random thing, but if he wanted to study to be a pilot tomorrow and he wanted to quit his job, then I would find a job. I would do that because that's his happiness, and I would love to support him, especially as he supported me for the past 3 years doing this and what I love to do. So I have absolutely no issue the door swinging both ways. It just so happens that he loves his job, and that's amazing because it does mean that I can do what I do, which is awesome. Emily Snowden asks, do you ever have bad days where you feel insecure about your body? That's a really good question. I wouldn't say days anymore. There might be a day or two. I can't honestly remember a whole day where I've been impacted by that anymore. I used to have whole days. If you asked me maybe a year or two ago, I would have probably said yes, whole days. But for me, it's come with learning not to care about anyone else's opinion. Like I use the word trained, but that's probably the wrong word. I was raised to believe that other people's opinions were the only thing that mattered, and that I was to live by other people's opinions and seek validation from other people. And so for me, it's not just been a battle of learning to love my body, it's been a battle of valuing my own opinion and putting that first, and also having to push back against others' opinions and others' it's really hard to explain without saying more, but like basically, like I love my family to death. A lot of my family are over in the UK, so I don't actually see them much anymore, which helps a lot on my journey, because I think if I had have been around that a lot more physically, then I would have had to work a lot harder to push back against it. Whereas like since being in my 20s, my immediate parents' life circumstances have changed so much that I feel like they're more open-minded now. So for me, it's been a case of like just trying to forget everything that I grew up being taught. And with that has come loving my body, if that makes sense. Like I've had to do a lot of work up here, and what comes out here, and the values as well that I hold for friends. It literally is your inner circle that shapes the person that you are. And I did a fuck ton of culling when I had Darcy. I lost my best friend. Well, actually, I chose to lose my best friend because she wasn't being that of a best friend. I got rid of a bunch of other people in my life because they were just people that were either toxic, or they were dragging me down, or they were filled with negativity, or it was always about them, or there was just a bunch of different things. And for me, that clogged up my own self-love, because I could never give that time or attention to myself, because I was constantly worrying about someone else, or the overthinking that, are they mad with me? Or why aren't they messaging me? Or why aren't they reaching out to meet my son? Or like, why aren't they doing this? Blah, 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 blah. And instead of that, I don't need that in my life. Like I cut out all the bullshit. I kept my essentials, people that were valuable to me, people that valued me in their life. I kept all of that, but anything else I was just like, no, out. You don't need to be in my life. And that was a game changer. That was exactly when I started my self-love journey, because I realized who is actually helping me to be a better person, and who am I helping to be better people too. You know, it's not just about me. It's also about like, if I can't love myself, how can I help other people in my life feel really good? So that was a huge step, was just closing that door on many friendships that I felt obligated to keep because of the length of time and effort that had gone into it. But honestly, yes, friendships are effort, but it shouldn't be a one-way street. It should be a two-way street. And so if you're in a friendship where you don't feel valued, then don't keep them around because you think that you have to. Keep them around because you want to, and because they want to also be in your life. So that was the beginning for me, was cutting out any toxic family or like dealing with bullshit with family or friends. And then from there, I realized to work on myself as well. And that came down to learning what behavior I want to accept in my life, what behavior I would accept from myself to give to other people. Because I just used to be a yes person. Anytime anyone would ask me anything, I would be like, oh yeah, sure. Like if someone had come up to me and be like, can I ask you a favor? I wouldn't have even questioned it. I'd be like, yeah, sure. What is it? Whereas now I'm like, oh, it depends. What is it? What would you like from me? Because I'm allowed to say no. It is my body. It is my thoughts. And I value my time and my opinion now. Whereas I didn't value myself as a whole general being. I did not value that. So now I'm like, I'm there for people, but at the same time, I also value myself and my time enough now that I can only give a portion of myself. I can't give everything to someone because I need to be that everything for me. So yeah, that's the biggest life lesson I had. It's a very rambly, long chat about it, but without the love for yourself, you can't give it off to anybody else. And so with that came the love for my own body, because I realized that once I got rid of all the people's opinions that I didn't give a shit about, I was like, well, actually, who am I worried is going to question my body? Strangers, never going to see them again. Family, who I've already decided I'm not going to listen to. It's my life, it's my body. I'm happy to have you in my life, but you're not going to run my life. So their opinions of my body don't matter. My partner, he loves my body for what it is because he knows that it's me, regardless of my size. He loves my body. He loves me as a person. So if my weight changed, so be it, you know? And then there's just me. So that was how I kind of came down to it. It was just like smallering and smallering the circle of who could judge me. And the only person left was me. The only person that was stopping me from living my best life was me. And anyone else along the way that was, if you had have said yes, family would judge me. Why? Why are you allowing their judgment? Anyway, that got quite deep, so we're gonna move on. It's funny, Yvette Harris says, do you ever find it hard to say no to people? I did for a very long time. I found it so incredibly hard to say no because I didn't want to upset anyone. I was appeasing everybody. I was an overthinker. Now I'm just like, no. If it doesn't sit well with me and I'm not happy with it, then it's no. And that's that simple. Pre-Love Goodies says, do you still have plans of moving? Yes, we do. The problem is we're waiting, for COVID to calm down. The house market is extremely booming. Well, at least from what I can see, houses are going on and coming off again. So I'm kind of like just wanting to wait anyway. But the other thing is that we've been waiting. I should probably still do my makeup. I'm going to do my eye makeup. I love this brand, BH Cosmetics. I've been using them for years and years and years. And yesterday I wore this bright pink and purple. There's a purpley one and a pink one, and I did a combo. And I flipping loved it. Wonder if I should go a yellow today. Oh, should we? Should we? You're probably screaming in the screen to me right now. Or there's like this nice aqua. I don't think aqua suits me though. Which should I do? Orange? Green. All the greens. Let's go green. Screw it. We're doing it. What color am I going to go? I think I'm going to go this really light lime color. Oh yeah, you can see it there. This palette is probably out of date, let's be honest. I don't know if that's gonna work. Oh, I love it. Oh, so pretty. But we're in no rush. We're in no rush. We're just taking things one step at a time. There's not many rentals down where we're looking to be. So we would love to move out, like down ASAP. But there's also like not much opportunity either. So, oh, I'm loving that. That is stunning. So yeah, it's just a waiting game, which is super frustrating. And our lease isn't up till next year anyway. So it wouldn't be till next year probably anyway. Unless we bought and then just ended this lease. What is that? So yeah, I know. I'm just as excited to do it as you guys are. Merch update too, or like apparel line update. I am currently in the process of arranging the embroidery and getting all of like the items costs to then work out what I'm selling it for and trying to be as affordable as possible without surpassing quality. It's difficult. And then, you know, you might really like a certain thing from one brand, but then struggle to get the other portion of it. It's hard to explain. But like, for example, I might be buying my t-shirts from one company, but then the embroidery or the logos might not be up to par, or might, you know, be super expensive to create there versus doing it locally. So there's like lots of different things like that to think about, which has been quite difficult. So yes, it's all in the works. It's just a slow burn again. I swear I'm just the most impatient person. I love having things done, but I also don't want to rush something like this for the sake of having it out. I want to make sure it's done to the standard that I would like to buy, and also making sure that I'm getting the best deal for you guys. Like, I'm a huge bargain shopper. I mean, you'd know this about me already, but like, I don't want to just go with the first price that I'm given. I want to shop around. I want to make sure that you guys are getting the best price possible, because I could easily just sign a price that I get, but then that means that you guys would have a higher price, and I don't want that. I do want it out ASAP, but I also don't want to make you guys have to pay through the roof for that either. Oh, I'm going to go this nice dark one below it. It's a huge risk because obviously I've asked you guys for an idea of who's interested in buying, but you don't know the price yet. You don't know the stock I'm ordering and all that sort of stuff. So who knows whether it's going to be all bought. I'm starting with a small batch just to make sure that I don't overbuy. And then I think I'm going to do pre-orders on the rest of it, but I also need to shoot content in it. So who knows? I'm just very confused. So much as well goes into like packaging and making sure that it looks presentable and pretty. And I also want it to be personalized to you guys, because you've chosen to support me and spend your money on me, you know? Oh, I'm loving that. I've never had a green eyeshadow in my life, and I'm dying. This is so chic. Yes. Wow, I feel like I could go more for sure, but I will also risk like ruining it, so let's just stop there. Next up, I've just been using the Scandalize by Rimmel. What I will say though is, how do you know how long they've been sitting on the shelf? Because I swear I recently bought that and it's already started like stinging my eyes like an old mascara does. And so normally when it starts stinging my eyes, I just chuck it out and which sounds terrible. I probably should throw it out before that. But like normally I'll throw it out and then buy a new one. But this one has been doing it from the get-go. So like how? How do I know? This is bringing out the green in my eyes. Oh, I love it. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. I must have an eczema breakout coming out right here. Ugh. I also never really talk about this, but you've probably got the gist of it from the vlogging channel recently, that my passions are not just social media and like online and creativity here. I also really love DIYs. Like, I freaking love it. It's another passion of mine. And so I've been doing a lot of DIYs and redos and bedrooms and stuff like that on the vlogging channel, which I've been loving doing. So I know that the content hasn't been as popular, like the views on them haven't been that great, but I honestly don't care. I just love making stuff that makes me happy. And if people are enjoying that, that's amazing. But if people don't like that, then that's fine too. I totally don't care. If I'm being honest, there'll still be daily vlogs, but it'll probably be also a mixture of like DIY stuff and getting more creative on that channel as well, because I do so much of that anyway, and why not film it on camera? I'd love to know in the comments if you guys like these longer videos or do you like shorter ones. I like longer ones, but I also get that there's not a lot of time in the week to watch longer ones, so yeah, it's tough. It's tough being a parent. So many people have asked if there's another baby. I feel like I address this in every single Q&A / video with Elle. there will be potentially another one. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know if that'll even come to fruition. At the moment, I could not imagine having any more in my life. I'm trying to focus on my career, and Elle's also trying to focus on his career. We're also trying to move down south. So I think there's a lot of things that need to happen first before we think about any more kids. And I also like the idea of a buddy system and having the boys in school, or at least Darcy in school, before we have any more. So there is many, many, many more years to come before any more children. I'll be honestly probably in my 30s before we have any more. So don't worry, you guys will be the first to know. Where did I grow up? I actually was born in the UK, born in London, and then raised in like countryside Oxfordshire. And then moved out here when I was 11. Obviously, my parents moved us out. And actually lived in a small town called Mergen, of all places. Very small country town. I don't know why my parents picked that place, but they did. And it was nice. I think we were there for like 2 years. Oh gosh. And then we moved to a place called Woollooga, which was a really, really small town. Like, it was a little blink it and you miss it kind of village. But it was like where a lot of acreage blocks are. And then it was about a 40-minute drive to Gympie, which is where I went to school, and then moved down to Brisbane. So I've lived all over the shop. I don't say anywhere's really my hometown, because really, where do you classify as part of your childhood to be your hometown? I don't really classify anywhere of it to be my hometown. Okay, let's go curl my hair because we're coming to the end of this. Don't mind all the mess and everything behind me. We're currently in the process of our bedroom redo, but we're waiting for our bed frame. Annoyingly just got told that it's gonna be a while before it comes here, which is so annoying because they should have really told us that like a week ago, but they didn't. They decided for us to contact them last minute to be like, hey, so haven't had a notification to say this has been shipped. Is it getting shipped? They're like, oh no, it's not, sorry. GHD curls are the hardest to do, but the best. I feel like the lighting here is just absolutely shocking for you guys. That's better, isn't it? I'll just use the viewfinder. So I just take it and then wrap it one whole way, then pull until it's like a third left at the bottom, like a third of your hair. Anyway, it's probably not all that interesting. You guys probably know how to do it. Yes, I don't really have a hometown. Oh, well, I don't really call anywhere my hometown because my parents don't live in the same place anymore, so there's not really a hometown in general anyway. Oh, Demi asks, what's your favourite colour to wear? That's a really good question. I think black. But pink is another one I love. Like, pink's my all-time favourite colour. Love, love, love pink. But I also really like yellow. I've been finding that yellow suits me a lot more recently. I'd be interested to know from you guys what you like seeing me in, because I think that would vary a lot. But yeah, I like grey, black, pretty much basic colours because I feel like they're really wearable and you can change them up and mix them up and all that sort of stuff. But I do like a pop colour too. Understand it. Maybe something's missing inside of you. Just a bit of sugar to that horrid bitter. Maybe you taste different. Hold up, baby. I can sit beside you while you're going on about your simple life. Nothing left you thinking that maybe you're not different. Go on, blow up your ego. Your ego. You're undenying. this is what I do with my hair. It's nothing special. It just is literally a chuck it together. I don't even some of the times do my back of my hair. It's just what's at the front. I'm just going to chuck on some lippy. Let me just go get that. I've been trialing the ENQUIRIES Beauty, so let me know what you guys think of it. It definitely isn't as like you can't touch it. I do like the formula though. Sorry, I'm using the viewfinder again. Not sure about the colour. You guys can let me know. It's like a bit orangey. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of today's look. What do we think of the green? Do we like the green? Should I rock that more? But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please go down and hit the thumbs up. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. There was a bunch in there and I'm very chatty, so maybe we'll have to do a part 2. And make sure you subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys very soon for another video. Bye!